Here he is, Jolly.
Evening, you alright?
All right.
Hi, Con.
How did your presentation go?
It was a cup draw. So we went down to Helen Eccles, not far from your ends, and did a cup draw for a few league cup and league trophy draws. So I got to put my name on the warm balls.
Tell you what, was it like Donald Trump when he done it, or Rod Stewart?
Yeah, Rod Stewart with the
Rod Stewart. Fucking Rod Stewart. Oh my God. He was bladding, wasn't he? Put my hands on the warm balls. Brilliant. So we had a little chat just before, didn't we, Joel? And I think it's too hard to pinpoint anything out of the derby. But obviously, the last time you were on, we were talking about Michael Oliver and how, he's clearly the best referee. But I guess spoke about how you could almost compare some of the things that went on in the derby to some of the things that happened in last night's game, the Liverpool Villa game, by way of a comparison. So any kind of insight you can give us, any kind of things you can go, actually, that was done well or that wasn't done well and anything like that?
Yeah, I think we spoke last time about how sort of calm and composed Oliver was. I think it was the Arsenal-Man City game. Oh no, that was Peter Banks. Just in general, how calm and composed he is. I think that approach in the derby was a bit inconsistent. I think he was really, really calm in some ways, and then quite reactive in other ways. Obviously, we know it boiled over massively at the end, and I don't mind that. And sort of Slot's admitted to saying something he shouldn't have done at the end. I know that's sort of boiled over. I think in the game he was sort of reacting a bit more to the atmosphere than we would have liked to have seen as a neutral, maybe. I think it's probably hard to pinpoint one decision to say, oh, that was a howler again. But I think it was in what we said last time around sort of reacting to the game state and the emotion of the fixture, obviously goes without saying. I think it was an almost impossible game for him to manage. And I personally, in the first half, thought he was having a good game. And in the second half, it went to shit. Nothing major in there, but it's the reacting to the fouls or not reacting to the fouls and allowing, sort of time to be managed better in Everton's favour. I know I've probably got me Liverpool glasses on here, but in comparison to last night, the Aston Villa game, not as emotional, but still quite good in the quality of the game. It was end to end the time. It was a basketball game. I think Craig Pawson, the ref, dealt with that quite well. Let stuff go that should have been let go, waved stuff away, but reacted to stuff in the right way when it needed to be. I know McAllister took quite a bit of a kick in a few times, I noticed in the first half, but I think the fouls that he gave against them were right. I think the ones he waved away were also right. And then I think probably the biggest decision in that game was more the handball in the lead up to the goal, which I don't think was a handball. Too close to him, too far back in play anyway. But it's that far away from him. It's coming up from the floor at an angle. He's going to have to turn away. I think he dealt with that quite well. And overall, game flow a little better.
Interesting point you made there about, the handball. And I guess one of the things we were taught for a while with regard to referees was to say, there's no ball to hands anymore. That was always a thing, years ago, ball to hands, there's no way you can get out of the way, that, that kind of stuff. Has that kind of made a bit of a comeback now, almost? I think, looking at the Premier League, it feels like it has. I know that's maybe not the case in Europe at this moment in time, but do you think it's definitely made a return to the Premier League?
Definitely made a return to the Premier League. I think the debate is always there. I think the Europe approach is a lot more sensitive to it than we are. I think we're a bit more lenient. I think 2 or 3 seasons ago we were quite sensitive to the handball and sort of any contact of the hand in the box. was sort of given as a penalty, wasn't it? And it was a disgrace really where it was going, the amount of soft penalties that we'd had. But I think now it is a lot clearer. But week on week and season on season, it seems to change. So it's quite difficult to keep up with it. But what we've been told we've got a referee sort of development officer on our league, and we sat down with the clubs and the referees in the same room and said he's used a good analogy of, if you look like a seagull and you've got your hands up in the air, it's going to be handball. If you look like a penguin and you've got your hands down, and it's sort of this natural position debate, and if you've not got much time to react to it and your hands are sort of down, or you're going up for the tackle and your hands might sort of be up, sort of sensitive anymore. That one for me, was it John McGinn? He was far too close to it. The ball's come up from the floor at an angle and hit him. Regardless of whether it was too far back in play, that wouldn't give down handball for me.
Yeah, and it's strange, isn't it, when you see some of the players still doing that's the mandate and that's what's been cascaded to the players.
Yeah.
You still see players doing stupid things like Mings last night in one of the corners. It was looking like he was doing a Superman, and obviously he never hit his hands. But it makes you wonder and go, why are you in that, or putting yourself in that position to almost get a penalty against you, because you're in such an unnatural position. It seems a bit crazy, but that's the way the game was.
Yeah, and he's leading with his hand, isn't he? He goes up for the header with his hand on his head almost. And in the amateur game recently, the last game I had, there was a lad with a hand up here. I can't see it on camera, but it was up here, and they have like one of them amateur like tactical cameras, and you can zoom right into the incident. And the manager sent me I give 3 penalties in one game, and that the middle one, he had his hand up vertically in the air. There's no question about that.
No Stockley Park for you, Joel.
I know, yeah.
Joel, can I just say on handball as well? I think for me, when I'm watching games as well, if it's deliberate, if you see a hand movement towards the ball, it's deliberate handball, isn't it? But if it just hits the arm, for me, and they can't react in time, it's not so much a penalty, because I think some players, if they're running or trying to close things down, it's hard to run, isn't it? Like a penguin, for example, it's hard to run. But if you're standing still, I suppose you can do that. So do they take that into account as well? If someone's running to block a shot, for example, and the ball just hits their arm, is that taken into account there as they're running? Because as you say, it's hard to run, isn't it? Like that.
Yeah, you can't really run like that. And you see some defenders put their hands behind the back, so they're sort of overcompensating for that. And they brought a law in last year or the year before. If you go down to block a shot and your body is going to hit the floor, but you've still got one arm out that you naturally would, and you then stop that ball with your hand, that was classed as not handball anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy when you see players doing that, isn't it? They've got to run, and then they've got to put their hands behind the back to say to the referee, "Look, I'm not trying to handball it."
You can't like penalise them for having arms in the box. Do you know what I mean? Probably a good example might be the Madrid Champions League final, where Mane kicks it onto one of the Spurs players' arms, and his arm's up here.
Yeah.
He's asking for it.
Yeah.
But then if he's defending a cross and he goes down low
and
his arm's out and it hits him on the arm, then there's a bit of leeway for that one now, I think.
Well, I think that's it from me, Joel. Cole, and you want to add?
Yeah, I want to ask Joel one question about linesman. You might be able to help me off.
Sure, yeah.
So it was the...
Can't say that, Cole.
Assistant referee.
Assistant referee.
Assistant referee. I'm old school, aren't I? I'm old school, that's the problem.
We're going to cancel here.
It was the Everton match when I watched Everton versus Palace, and I don't think anyone else picked up on it, but when Palace scored that goal, didn't they? And then they give it because they said the ball went out of play as it was coming in, corner. And then there's a couple of replays on it. On one of the replays, I watched the linesman while it was, when they had the focus on trying to focus on the ball going out.
Yeah.
But it also has a little piece of the linesman in there. So the cross comes over. And as it's coming over, the linesman comes away from his line. He's still got his flag down. He's watching the play. And then as the first Crystal Palace player heads it back, there's another Palace player in an offside position in the centre of the goal, but it doesn't interfere with the goal. And as he heads it back, as it goes back in, the linesman then puts his flag up. Now, they were saying the linesman give that clearly for it going out to play because he can see along the line. Yeah. Would a linesman normally wait for the action still to finish before he puts the flag up? Because to me, I thought he was putting the flag up for the fella being offside, but then Sky and everyone else said, the linesman's got the best view of it. He's put his flag up for it going out to play, but I don't think that was the reason why he done it. Would you normally expect your linesman to put your flag up straight away if it goes out like a throw-in, if it goes out of play?
I think the best approach to that is to wait. You always get told to wait. I think the confusion with that is that the signal for those two things, offside and going out to play for a goal kick, is exactly the same. So he might well have waited. You don't know what's going on in his head. He might well have waited for that offside to play out because it'll obviously go to VAR. He might have seen it go out, step back to get back in line with the second rearmost defender, and then he's seen the offside. So either way, it's offside or it's a goal kick.
Yeah, have we got lines out waiting for VAR even for the corner kicks? Then do you think?
I know. I've not come across that one before, but I think usually with the offsides is the advice is to wait. With the going out to play, there's probably less emphasis on that.
Yeah, I would have thought the way they would thought.
You're best just sort of taking your time to make the decision and sort of let it play out. It might just go out for a goal kick anyway.
Yeah, he actually puts it up when the ball goes in the back of the net, so maybe that's the way he's thinking. I was just dead surprised that if a ball goes out of play normally for a throw-in or it goes past the byline, the linesman normally puts his flag up, but he didn't. He only put his flag up when the ball hit the back of the net, which I found quite strange, really.
Yeah, he's probably delayed it because of
just to see what's happening.
The goal scoring, so if it goes out on the byline, that's his call, really. It's not on the referee or VAR is not going to get involved in that. That's ultimately his decision, and there's not really any sort of real outcome to that, which could be a goal.
Yeah, it wasn't even discussed on the match when I was watching it. I just thought it was quite strange.
Yeah. You see a lot of sort of situations like that where the commentary are a bit baffled as to what's.
Yeah, they didn't seem to know what's going on, did they?